What is up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are returning back to some different videos again. Obviously we've been doing some opening videos for a very long time now, so I figure let's actually return back and let's actually do a test hand video today to continue up on the Sacred Beast deck profile that we did about maybe 6 or 7 videos ago. So I hope you guys are all excited about this. This is obviously the one that's focusing on the budget variant, and then soon I'll actually make a proper deck profile for Sacred Beast where I actually go into the more competitive depth and actually include a lot of different cards that could make it compete against the meta. However, with that being said, let's get started. Alright, so here's our opening hand. Definitely quite interesting for the fact that we drew into 2 of these, which is definitely going to be quite bad of course, but that's okay because we still have quite a few plays that we could actually work with as well. So with that being said, we're going to go with the Dark Summoning Beast. We can normal summon it out, and as soon as it's normal summoned, I'm going to run over every single effect here because of the fact that this is the first time I'm actually doing it for the channel itself. So with that being said, I'll just explain everything that's going along. So if this card is summoned, you could actually just add any of your Uriah, Hamon, or Raviel from your deck, or any other card that actually lists those particular cards in your deck as well to your hand, except itself. So definitely really nice, and later on we get an extra normal summon, so we'll get to that later. But we do have Dark Summoning Beast, which is absolutely amazing. So I think my second normal summon will go into the Dark Summoning Beast. But for the time being, we're going to search for something else. We already have these 2 obviously. So I'm thinking, well, let's actually go for... I'm obviously not going to go for the Sacred Beast, but I'm thinking about going for the opening of the Spirit Gates. That would be nice. So I'm actually going to go with that. And from that, I'm actually going to, let's see, use its second effect, which allows me to do my extra normal summon. So I'm going to get rid of this and summon out the Dark Summoning Beast, which is absolutely amazing. Because of the fact that Dark Summoning Beast is pretty much a bad card in the sense that if you use it on any other turn, it would actually be bad. But since you're going first, its detriment doesn't even affect you. So what's great is we could actually just tribute off this card and then special summon off any of our Sacred Beasts. In this particular case, I'm thinking, hey, let's just go for the Raviel. That would be quite amazing, of course. So now we're going to bring out Raviel. It has like 4,000 attack and defense, which is great. You could technically go for Hamon if you actually wanted to. So since we actually have the Cerulean Skyfire, I think I might actually go for the Hamon instead. It would actually be quite a good option. But I was kind of thinking of different things as well. So we'll bring out Hamon, and now we actually have our opening of the Spirit Gates. So we're going to activate this, and when this is activated, you again essentially allow yourself to add either any of the Sacred Beasts or any card that actually lists it in from the deck to your hand. So in this case, I'm actually just going to add our Shimmering Scraper, which is absolutely amazing, of course. It's kind of like the hand trap of the deck itself, which is amazing. And then of course we also have this card as well, so we could essentially, well, its second effect that is, we can discard a card, Cerulean Skyfire in this case, and then we're gonna actually summon out a Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense from our graveyard. So we kind of extend our resources, so we have the choice of either bringing back our Dark Beckoning Beast, or we could actually bring out our Dark Summoning Beast. Now Dark Summoning Beast has no purpose to actually be brought back because it actually has a grave effect. So what we're going to bring back here is we're going to bring back our Dark Beckoning Beast in defense position. And this, obviously it's not going to do anything right now, but it gives you that extra bit of defense for the time being. So you're going to keep these 2 cards right over here, and then essentially from that, what you're going to do is now opening of the Spirit Gates actually has a third effect. So once per turn, if you have a level 10 monster on the field, then you could actually just add a continuous spell from your graveyard to your hand. So it's absolutely amazing. Alright, so as you guys can see there, that's the typical play of someone who might actually make a misplay because they don't know what the cards actually do. So in that particular case, I was showing you an example of how good the card could actually be if it was actually allowing you to actually use all of the effects in one turn. But of course, you must choose only one. In that case, I am choosing the Ravio in this particular scenario for the fact that I kind of like this card to be added, and it works on activation, so your second two effects allow you to actually do different things. So in my particular situation, a lot of people would make that particular play, and so I wanted to clear it up early on as I am right now. So with that being said, instead of actually discarding the Cerulean Skyfire, since you can't actually technically add it back, you could actually just get rid of the Dimension Fusion Destruction instead as a better option, since you already have two. That way you have Cerulean Skyfire to actually use as well. So you could actually technically activate this if you really wanted to. But by activating this alone, you already just got your first negate, so it's absolutely amazing. And of course, you have opening of the Spirit Gates preparing you for the next turn anyway, because it has plenty of effects to work off with. But with that being said, we also have Ravio in the hand as well, allowing us to kind of prepare for when our opponent's trying to attack us. We have Dimension Fusion, which will also allow us to kind of play off later on and make our big plays, because keep in mind, we also have our Dark Summoning Beasts effect as well. So in this case, you don't have to activate it. You could technically, in case your opponent actually activates a card, but if you wanted to, you could actually banish it and use its effect, allowing you to add either your Hamon, Ravio, or your Uriah from the deck to your hand. So in that particular situation, we already have Ravio, we already have Hamon, so why not actually just go for the Uriah instead? And that would actually be quite nice. The sad thing about Dark Summoning Beast is the fact that it can't actually just add any of your other cards, like Opening of the Spirit Gates or Cerulean Skyfire, but that's okay, because either way we still have a lot of great resources over here to work with, so it's definitely quite amazing indeed. I will also briefly mention the fact that you technically wouldn't be bringing out your Shimmering Scraper, since you can't technically use its effect on Hamon, you would have to use its effect on itself. So the best choice, you might actually just add the Ravio with the Opening of the Spirit Gates, but you essentially have everything you need, so the Dimension Fusion Destruction is actually very viable on your next turn. You get a negate, and you basically can recycle your resources with the Opening of the Spirit Gates as well. So as you can see, with just a budget structure deck alone, or a budget variant of this, you could already do so much. Imagine how good this would actually be if you built it in a competitive standpoint. Alright, so here's a bit more of a different hand here. I like the variety that we're actually working with, but that is definitely quite nice either way, because we could still definitely work with this, you know. Sometimes you are actually going to have a bit more of a slower turn, so sometimes you have to try your best to make things work the best they can. So you have these two cards, which is no big deal. You're just going to set them face down, and you do have Cerulean Skyfire, but obviously we can't use them now. And we have Swords of Concealing Light, which obviously it's a bit more of a second turn card, but that's okay, because we actually do have here our Chaos Core, which kind of allows us to stall, because that's essentially what it does. So you're gonna actually be able to dump your resources into the graveyard anyway later, gain counters, survive, and you would actually be fine. You don't actually have to worry too much about that, so don't worry too much. And either way, we still have the Escape from the Dark Dimension and Awakening of the Sacred Beast when we actually need it overall. But I am definitely not going to take this off from the test hand itself, because I want to show you that sometimes we might actually get some slow plays, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're in a bad situation. And you also have to consider that, again, this is a budget variant for the deck. Alright, wow, this is a pretty crazy hand to actually begin with. So yeah, you could actually go for quite a bit with this particular hand here. It is quite a bit of options, but we're going to summon out the Dark Beckoning Beast first, which is obviously amazing. And from that, I'm just going to add the card we actually need. We already have Opening of the Gates, which is quite nice. I was actually thinking about going for the Dark Summoning Beast, because we're technically going first in this situation, but there's actually a better play. So I'm going to run through 2 simulations with this particular test hand, and you guys will actually understand what I'm actually doing here. So the first simulation is I'm going to summon out the Dark Beckoning Beast, and then I'm going to normal summon out the Dark Summoning Beast. And this will essentially, or this will firstly allow me to add something. So it doesn't really matter what we add because I'm just showing you a demonstration. And we're going to summon out the Dark Summoning Beast and then use its effect to actually go on, and then use its graveyard effect as well to add. However, this leaves our field barrier to be kind of pointless in that situation. However, Dark Summoning Beast can Dark Beckoning Beast that is, can technically add a Fallen Paradise from our decks to our hand. Now with opening of the Spirit Gates, we also get to add something to our hand as well, so we could technically add the Fallen Paradise, which would make our field barrier very amazing. But of course, here's the backtracking a bit, so let me just go back to the very beginning again, and instead of going for the Dark Summoning Beast, what you could technically do here is go for the Dark Beckoning Beast, go for your second normal summon to bring out the Chaos Summoning Beast, and from there Chaos Summoning Beast will tribute itself, and then use its graveyard effect as well, so you would special summon something else and also directly add the Fallen Paradise that you actually need to your hand. So it does change up the different situations. It is dependent on what you actually want to go for, because in this case the Dark Summoning Beast, it is your first turn, so you want to use that detriment to kind of like negate it. So in that case, let me just play it out again in that situation. So I'm just going to go with this one. We're going to summon our Dark Beckoning Beast first, allowing us to firstly add whatever we want. So in this case, I'm thinking let's add, I don't know, I mean, we can go for anything we want, so I'm just going to go for the Fallen Paradise. And then from there, I'm going to tribute this card and allow us to actually summon out the Dark Summoning Beast. So Dark Summoning Beast, we could then tribute off the this particular card itself, and then you get to special summon a Uriah, Hamon, or any of your Sacred Beasts, or cards that actually list Sacred Beasts. But in this case, I'm going to summon out, let's see, who I'm going to bring out here. I'm thinking let's go for Hamon in this case. I kind of like Hamon. So with that being said, we could banish this from the graveyard and add whatever Sacred Beast we actually want from our deck to your hand. So in this case, I'm thinking you could actually go for Raviel, you could go for Uriah, and I think we haven't been utilizing Uriah as much, so I'm just going to bring it out to the hand, right? That's okay. And then from there, I'm just going to activate the Fallen Paradise. I'm also going to activate the Field Barrier as well, protecting Fallen Paradise. And now we have these cards here, which is absolutely amazing. Now, the thing is this, before you activate Fallen Paradise's effect, you want to actually activate the Field Barrier first, because of the fact your opponent might have a Ghost Ogre, so that might destroy that card. So in this particular scenario, you can now just add your opening of the Spirit Gates first, and this will allow you to add something else. So in this case, although I could technically add the Raviel to complete the set, since I don't have my fusion card, I don't really care what Sacred Beast I actually have on the field, so I want to add my Cerulean Skyfire. So in this case, I'm going to look for the Cerulean Skyfire because we actually technically get a negate out of it. So it's quite amazing. So we're just going to have the Cerulean Skyfire and we're going to activate that out. I mean, this looks really amazing right now. It's quite phenomenal, really. But with that being said, we have Uriah and Chaos Summoning Beast. Doesn't really do much, but we do technically have Hamon on the field here. So what this potentially means is your Fallen Paradise can now be activated. So I'm going to shuffle up the deck and then we'll continue from there. Alright, so now we activate the Fallen Paradise's effect, allowing us to draw 2 more cards. Now of course, wow, that is quite weird, but you know, it's just the luck of the draw. It depends. You could actually get anything else, but we have here an extra Cerulean Skyfire, quite nice. We have an extra Uriah, which is okay because we still have the Chaos Summoning Beast at the ready for the next turn anyway. But on our following turn, we could just use its effect, this card, the Uriah, and then special summon out the Dark Beckoning Beast again, which would be quite amazing to allow us to just continue off making our plays. It's quite nice. It builds up on things. Alright, so now we're actually going second. This is going to be changing up quite a bit of things here. So in this particular scenario, what can we actually do? Our goal is technically to OTK our opponents. Now, the great thing is we managed to actually draw into Radiant, which is great for second turn of course, because you're going to get rid of your opponent's Dragoons or any other boss monster that might have some kind of negation. So that's a really great card to start off with. But with that being said, we have all of these right here. We actually have 2 Dark Beckoning Beasts, which is quite amazing. So when I normal summon one of them, and obviously you know exactly what we're going to add. Yes, we are going to add our opening of the Spirit Gates. It's absolutely amazing and just gets you started right away. So with that being said, let's see, what else can we technically go for here? So essentially at this point from our deck, we're actually going to use the opening of the Spirit Gates. This will allow us to search for our Chaos Summoning Beast, which is definitely a really great card. We're going to use Dark Beckoning Beast effect, allowing us to go for a second normal summon, tribute this off, summon off a Sacred Beast from our hand, ignoring summoning condition, so we're bringing out Hamon. We're going to activate Cerulean Skyfire. Right off the bat, we now have an extra negate. Absolutely amazing, of course. We're now going to banish off the Chaos Summoning Beast, so if your opponent wanted to do Called by the Grave, it wouldn't work. You have a negate anyway. So with that, you could actually just add your Fallen Paradise, luckily at the bottom right here. So we're going to activate it right away, now protecting our Hamon as well. So absolutely amazing at this point. Yeah, just wonderful. But of course, Fallen Paradise's effect now kicks in. Because we have Hamon, we could technically draw 2 cards. So in this case, I'm going to shuffle my deck again. And now we can draw 2 cards. 1 and 2. I mean, it didn't really matter. Wow, we have 2 or 3 Dark Beckoning Beasts on the field, which is not something I particularly wanted, but hey, I guess it's fine. Looks like we didn't actually achieve an OTK, but you know what, it's fine. I mean, it's no big deal on this particular scenario. We got like a bunch of pluses because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards on the field, and we managed to get rid of something, and we have a negate technically as well, and we have protection from Fallen Paradise. So you're plussing quite a bit out of this, and it's quite amazing. Not to mention, this has following resources on the next turn. Same thing for Fallen Paradise, and all of these technically have their own strengths and weaknesses which can be utilized to the right situation. So you would attack with Hamon anyway, which is quite amazing of course. And yeah, it's just all great. I mean, you're going to inflict the damage, and while this card is in defense position, then your opponent must attack it anyway. So you're in a really good position right now. Alright, so again, different situation. We could actually do something quite a bit different here. Obviously, we could see, wow, we actually have 2 of the Sacred Beasts in our hand, quite nice. We also have Fallen Paradise as well, so it kind of saves us the trouble of searching for it. But to begin, we drew into Radiant, again, very lucky. We're going to get rid of whatever big monster they actually have, so great start. Next, we're also going to go for the Dark Beckoning Beast, allowing us to add our Spirit Gates. Spirit Gates will then allow us to build up on our plays. So let's go for our Spirit Gates. Absolutely stunning, of course. And then we could activate Spirit Gates and then add something that we would think might be quite appropriate in this situation. So the only card I really wouldn't recommend is to bring out your Dark Summoning Beast, because you wouldn't be able to attack, and that would obviously be bad. So in this situation, what you could do is you could add something else that could really benefit you in this particular situation. So although I want the Dark Summoning Beast, I unfortunately cannot do that. However, I do have the Chaos Summoning Beast here, which is quite nice as well. So it does make me really think, should I actually go for that instead? I mean, even if I go for Raviel, it won't do me any good, because I have Fallen Paradise, which makes me think, no, you know what, I'm going for the Chaos Summoning Beast. We're going to do a second normal summon, use its effect to tribute this off, summon out most likely Hamon in this case. It's always just the best Sacred Beast, and we could also just banish this off from the graveyard, add a Fallen Paradise. Even if your opponent negates this effect, it doesn't matter, because you already have Fallen Paradise anyway, so it's fine. Where is the other one? Here it is. So we're going to activate Fallen Paradise, and now we technically can use its effect. So we're going to shuffle our deck. And now we actually draw 2 cards. So we're going to draw into Chaos Core, and we're going to draw into, wow, Mound of the Bound Creator as well. Absolutely amazing card. But right here we do have our Hyper Blaze, which is quite nice. So what I'm going to do here is, let's see, we're going to, well, this we could really just set, so that's fine. We have definitely some follow-up plays with the opening of the Spirit Gates and the Fallen Paradise as well, but if your opponent manages to destroy that, you have your second Fallen Paradise, and you also have your Mount of the Bound Creator as well, so that's quite amazing. You have Chaos Core to kind of build up on your things as well, so again, it is looking quite amazing. I do really love how different plays could actually allow you to do different things. So let's say I was to do a bit of backtracking, and let's forget the Fallen Paradise, so we'll lose these two cards. We'll keep the Fallen Paradise there, of course, and this was originally in our hand anyway. A Dark Beckoning Beast here. Instead of adding here the opening of the Spirit Gates, which would have added your Chaos Summoning Beast, what you could technically do in this particular scenario is you could technically just add, maybe, let's see, in this case I was thinking with all of these here, you could just go for your Cerulean Skyfire instead. So instead of actually going for your Dark Summoning Beast and your Fallen Paradise, you already have one, so you would actually add your Cerulean Skyfire, which means you would activate this, and then you already have the Fallen Paradise, so you could activate that to then draw the two cards. So see how it actually changes things up, and then you would still have your second effect of your Dark Beckoning Beast. So let me shuffle up the deck again. So in this simulation, we're going to draw two cards. This time, let's see if it's actually different. Not really, but I guess it's still fine, because at least our second normal summon now can be a Chaos Core, which is fine, of course, because now that we actually have Chaos Core out here, it's fine. It doesn't matter. It's really nice anyway. This is what we have, quite a nice field, because what we could do is we could actually just take these two cards here, and we can just link them away and go for something. Of course, our deck doesn't actually play links, since we're technically playing the structure deck variant of it, so it's not going to do much good there. However, with Chaos Core out in the field, it is still quite beneficial for what it actually does. Alright, so this is going to be our final test hand. My storage is actually starting to run out right now. It says I literally have like 5 minutes left to record on this, so hopefully I could actually pull this off. Nice, we actually drew into Radiant. Get rid of whatever your opponent has, so you're quite free to actually do what you want. So now I'm actually just going to go for the Dark Beckoning Beast and actually allow me to search. I already have Spirit Gates, so it's quite nice. So what I'm actually going to add here is, I think I'm going to add for my Hamon. And from that, I'm actually just going to go for the Chaos Summoning Beast, normal summon that out, use its effect, tribute it off, allowing me to actually just special summon out our Hamon. And from there we could also add the opening of the Spirit Gates, allowing us to also just add. So we're going to add our Fallen Paradise to the hand, shuffle our deck. You know what, forget that. Instead of activating this first, let's go for Fallen Paradise by banishing off this to add to our hand, and then we could activate this, so that's fine. But we're going to activate this first, allowing us to actually just add whatever we want, or maybe we'll activate it later and go for Fallen Paradise first. And now we draw two cards off Fallen Paradise because Hamon's on the field. So we're going to draw one, and we're going to draw two. We got another Hamon, definitely unfortunate of course. Our luck is not good when it comes to drawing, but hey, that's okay because we now have the opening of the Spirit Gates. We can activate opening of the Spirit Gates, allowing us to add whatever we want. So in this case, what do we actually want to add? Well, in this situation, we already have Hamon anyway. We have two Hamon on the field, so in this case, I'm just going to bring out our Cerulean Skyfire, and that could definitely be quite nice to actually start our way off here. We get the negate, we have plenty of plays to actually follow up on, and we have Hyper Blaze as well. Definitely quite amazing. So again, we have these two cards here. Can't really do too much right now, but that's okay because on our following turn we could just draw two more cards. We have the chance to draw into them as well, and obviously right now we're also going to deal quite a bit of damage onto our opponents as well, so it's definitely quite amazing. If your opponent is going to play out any spells or traps, and most of the time they really will, you'll just negate it, putting this to defense. Your opponent has to attack this, it's not allowed to attack this, and you pretty much just have follow-up plays anyway, so it's quite amazing to see what we could actually do here. But as you can see, we do have Cerulean Skyfire, and what we could technically do is we could set these two as well on the field. and get rid of this, and this as well, allowing us to technically summon out a second one if we really wanted to, just to flex on our opponent. So it's quite nice. But as an overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this particular test hand video. I'm starting to run out of time now, so I'm going to cap it off. Hopefully this actually gives you guys a gist of how the deck actually works. Eventually I'm going to be focusing on a more competitive variant of this deck, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, definitely drop a like if you enjoyed this video, share this video, it really helps a lot for this particular channel itself. And of course, don't forget to comment on all my videos as well. And of course, don't forget to comment on this video on what you actually thought about this particular test hand. Would you actually do the same thing I would, or would you actually play things out differently? I love the variation with this particular deck. It is definitely quite amazing. It is quite fun. It is quite phenomenal. But of course, don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this. I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you next time.